Record. Okay, guys. All right. I've been pimping Tina out for a while. I adore this woman. You know that. Real quick, I'm just going to kind of go over the first time I met Tina. She probably doesn't even remember this. It was Disney Success Club trip 2013. Heather introduced me to her, and I immediately was like, I need to follow her. I need to know what she's doing, what kind of juice she's drinking, whatever, because she had this spunk and this fire about her. And I immediately just was drawn to her. And I think mainly because she made me feel really good about myself. It was my first trip ever, and I was nervous, and I had stars in my eyes, and she made me feel like I was the most important person there. She probably doesn't remember that, but she did make me feel that way. And then, let's see, the next time we got to hang out was leadership at Dana Point, the September of 2013. And we got to hang out, we got to party, we got to just have fun, and really got to know her then. And then the following year, the leadership retreat, we had a blast. And then GoPro, we went to see Eric Worre and all his goodness for a few days, and she and Joe, her husband, adopted me. I was by myself, so they invited me to dinner and stuff like that, so we got to just bond. And then in Cancun, I feel like we had some great times together and some great business talks, and I don't know, I just value time with you whenever I get to have time with you. So I'm honored that you're on this call tonight. Our team is just doing amazing things right now, and I think they could just really hear some great things from you. Tina is 6-star Diamond Elite, and her husband is also 5, 6,
yeah.
And they built separately. She hasn't built his business; he's built his own business. So they, to me, are just this power couple that I just think they are amazing. What else did I want to say? Kudos about her before. Yeah, I'm going to let you take it away. I'm going to shut up. And the reason that you're here is to talk, not me. So I'm so glad you're here. I'd love for you to tell your story and give some tips. And take it away, Miss Tina.
Don't make me tear up like that. Hearing you recount that our meeting is just so meaningful to me. Thank you so much, because I just instantly resonated with you. And I don't know if you caught it, but there was this giant theme of parties that we were at. So we tend to have this party thing and celebration and events that we were at together. I value you so much. And what I'd love to share with your team is this. When you are blessed with a leader like you all have in Natalie, it's easy to take that for granted because you come in and that's all you know. But what you may not know, like Joe and I didn't know until we got to our first event, we had no idea that our sponsor was a big deal, right? We just took him for granted. He was Tommy from next door, the chubby, formerly morbidly obese guy that took us under his wings, and he was literally a neighbor from a small town. And we didn't take what he gave us for granted. We appreciated and valued him, but we really had no idea. We thought everybody had a Tommy. So if you happen to think that everybody has a Natalie, you would be so wrong. We value her for her integrity, the way she runs her business, her drive and her motivation, and her desire to lead with service and lead with love with people and build a business around that. We value that about her and appreciate her and treasure her friendship immensely. So we're honored to know her, and as an extension, thrilled to be lead with a fear, and you're going to hear fear as a tiny little theme from me tonight. I'm going to lead with a fear and just let you know, here's my highest intentions for this evening. I just pray that something will come that will help you in any teeny tiny little way. maybe it's just this little nugget. Maybe it's just a seed, that, a little stone that gets in your slipper and it irritates you until you do something about it or explore more about it. That would be great. Maybe it will be something bigger than that. But it's just my prayer that something will flow out of my mouth that will have value to you. And more importantly, will allow you to expand your influence and serve more people. That's my prayer. So I want to lead with that intention. So everyone has a story, right? So I'm going to share with you mine, a little bit of a backdrop, and take you through this journey because Natalie asked if I would be willing to share maybe my perspective of why I personally lead with business. I understand you all have an amazing culture and you lead with challenges and then transition folks into business partners, right? I think that's as I understand it. And that is the traditional model. And we have coaches who lead with business on our team. We have coaches who lead with challenges, and we have coaches who blend both of those. So my suggestion is maybe just hearing, that there are other ways that that teams do Beachbody, do network marketing. Maybe that will open you up and allow you to see what works, experiment with what I do, a blend of everything too, but I primarily lead with business and fall back on challenge group as a plan B. And I'll tell you why more later, because I feel like I'm able to offer at first all of the products I have and then back up as challenge if I need to. But here's my story, and here's why that is so significant to me, why I'm magnificently obsessed with helping empower women with, I say women because most of my coaches, sorry Billy, most of my partners are women, empower people with the income opportunity and the freedom opportunity. So my story is this. It is a story that a girl who failed accounting, who got a D- in algebra. At best, I was a mediocre academic student. So I leaned heavily on my other strengths, which were communication and ability to connect with people. And it was such a treasure for me to hear that I made Natalie feel good, because that's my deepest desire, to help people feel good about themselves and to feel included. That's really important to me, to help people feel included. So I was this girl who failed accounting, and I decided I was, through my lifetime, somehow, some way, going to figure out a way to create a new storyline for myself. So instead of the girl who failed accounting, I flip that lid and I say, now I am a girl who is accounting my blessings. And it is because of the power of network marketing. So here's what I hope will unfold here tonight. I'm going to share with you a little bit of my story, young story. I'm going to share with you young adult story, and then my middle-aged, now I'm 50 story. I'm going to share with you some statistics. I'm going to point you to some specific resources and tools that we use in our organization. And again, just suggest to you that maybe there are multiple ways that we can run our entrepreneurial businesses, and maybe a blend or having an opening in your heart to hear other ways serves you too. So let me ask you guys something. By a show of hands, how many of you like to help people? All right, cool. So keep your hands up if you like to help people physically. If you like to help people with their nutrition. What about if you could free people up to spend more time with their families or doing things that they absolutely love to do, right? What if you could help someone? You can put your hands down now. Thanks for playing with me. So what if you could help a struggling family pay off their debt? What if you could help an abused woman by empowering her financially to be able to leave a relationship that she feels financially trapped in. What if you could help someone find their confidence, find their way to add value and create meaning in their lives? What if you could help them get out of their own way financially? You know, when you get all stuck in financial burdens and despair, I do. When you get all stuck there, it's harder to be of service to others, to be able to give fully of yourself when you're trapped in your own little junk. So what if you could open up those doors of freedom to someone by empowering them financially? What if you did that and one of those, even just one person, freed themselves, was able to live their life of freedom, and they could start writing checks. They could get their checkbook out and start writing checks to help their extended family, to retire their mom, to retire their dad, or to give to charities or causes that they believe in, to give to organizations that are in need in the community. Like I was in need growing up, like my mom was in need. What if you got to be this teeny tiny part of equipping someone with an income opportunity? So in other words, I'm suggesting maybe we can expand our influence and not just help people with their bottoms, but to help people with their bottom lines, right? What if we could do that? So I'm looking to help people with their time, their money, and their health, happiness. All right, so I'm going to dig in and just give you this little backdrop story of, I'm currently, today's story is I'm 50 years young. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of 2 adult children. I am a glamma. I got that title from my daughter. I get to be glamma of almost 6-month-old Ryan. P.S. He's the king of the world. I get to see videos of him every day. He lives in Salt Lake City. Side note. So that's where I am now. And I enjoy helping people in all of these ways. And I think maybe backtracking a little bit to say what it took to get me to this point at 50, where I wasn't just prior to joining this. So I was 46 when I was introduced to network marketing. So I talked at the very beginning about fear was going to be a theme here, right? I started with fear. Oh my gosh, I fear. I hope that I can give you some value here tonight. And I'm going to circle back to my very first memory ever as a human being was one of fear. I remember a blue lace dress. I remember lots of ruffles, little white socks with cute ruffles, black patent leather shoes with a little strap on it. How weird is that I can remember this was my first memory, right? But I was wearing that, and my mom had me propped up in this little apartment on a table. She was holding me, and I was holding on to her. I think I was scared. And she was talking to someone who was in a uniform, and that uniform, it was a police officer. And I still to this day, I have no idea what that interaction was all about. I've never even asked my mom that. But I do remember that's my first memory in life, and it was one of fear. And it turns out that fear was going to turn into being a little theme for me. And in the end, the woman that I just told you about now, the 50-year-old is using all of these things as something that drives her to create a difference in the world. I also, along the lines of fear, I remember my mom telling me that my first words were not mama or dada. My first words were careful. So apparently I was being told to be careful, and I was fearful. Great combination and very glamorous, right? So that fear theme was just recurring through my childhood. I had fears that surfaced from visiting my mom in psychiatric wards, visiting other families in psychiatric wards. I had fears that stemmed from learning that my real dad and I can say this all with distance now, that's just past tense, but I'm just setting that stage. My real father, I learned, was in prison for murder. I grew up with a stepdad who violated trust. I grew up with fear of lack. I grew up with fear of lack and was sent to grocery stores with, government assistance, food stamps. I was sent to the store with food stamps, and my peers, my high school peers worked at the grocery stores. I remember the fear of being discovered. I would wait in the back of the grocery store to go up to the line because I didn't want to go to the line where my friend was working because I was going to have to hand him this. I had a fear of being discovered because I worked so hard to try to distance myself from that lack and that poverty. So I worked from as long as I can remember to buy instruments, to pay for cheerleading camps, to be in cross country, and eventually, so that I didn't have to use lunch tickets and stand in that line in school, I actually paid for my food as well. So those fears parlayed into, not super confident and strong 20-something-year-old. So I ended up, to get out of the situation I was in, I did not go to college. Of course, they probably wouldn't have accepted me with that D- in algebra and failing accounting, but I did not go to college. I went to secretarial school. And that was my quick way to get out and start making some money. And the fact is, I, in the next couple of decades, ended up repeating a lot of, the struggles that my mom had. I was married, I was divorced, I had 2 children, I was a single mom for some time. And so it was like a repetition of some of those things, minus the fact that they didn't lock me up in the loony bin. That's only because they didn't discover me. I'm just saying I was better at hiding it. And I didn't have to go on food stamps or government assistance, but I will say this, I was broke as a joke. I remember as a young parent, like 3 days from payday, as a secretary, and I had $3 left and a bottle of spaghetti sauce. And I was like, what am I going to do with, how am I going to feed these kids for a couple more days? So I've been broke as a joke. I think that's all important to share with you as to why I'm so richly passionate or magnificently obsessed about leading with the business. Because the truth is, I didn't come into Beachbody I was already living fairly healthy. I was always active in something. So I think a lot of people however you come into the business is kind of how you lead others, right? You model what you see. So for me, I didn't come into the business for a physical transformation. I came into the business because, this is how I actually came into the business. Tina, I just signed you up as a coach so I can get halfway to Emerald. And I got you the Shakeology stuff, so you stay out of my stash. And I got you Shailene Extreme. And I was like, okay, honey, that was it. And so if Heather, I share, or if Natalie shared my pay history, that first year pay history with you, you'll see there was $0, $0, $0, $0, $20. Well, that was that 5 weeks. There was 5 weeks of Joe, who's very smart and reads policies and procedures, and he needs to know all the details of everything. That 5 weeks, he was flooding me with all this information about Beachbody that I didn't want to know, and I just shut down. But what he did was very smart. He took me to an event. And events are powerful, like meeting Natalie. Me being on this call and getting to share this time is because Natalie and I wound up at an event and multiple events, and we built this rapport and relationship where we can serve one another and just be friends and party. So he got me to an event, and that event changed everything for me. I saw a woman stand in front of the room who had lost 183 pounds. the most beautiful woman. I don't know if you all know her. June Warner was her name at the time. It's now Moser. She married another Beachbody coach. But she told her story, and hers began with a physical transformation, and she was at that point entering into the business side of it. And what Beachbody did for her was empower her not only physically, but that empowerment and that build up of confidence led her to leaving an abusive relationship, and she had 2 young daughters. So she pulled them out of that abusive environment, and she began building a business with Beachbody. I heard that story and several others similar to that, and my soul was just on fire. I honestly went there kicking and screaming. Joe begged me. He actually shed a little tear to get me to go to this event, because I was like, I don't want to go hang out with these Beachbody freaks. Like, no way. I'm busy. And he actually shed a tear to get me to go, and I did. And I went there kicking and screaming, but I left that event, and I got in the car with Joe afterwards, and I said, I don't just want to do this. I have to do this. I feel it in every part of my soul and being. And that moment on, I never looked back. Did I have hard days and I wanted to kick and scream and whatever? Yes, but I never, ever once thought about leaving, because I was just taken by the power that we had through this opportunity, this very inexpensive thing to get into. It's like we own this $1 million business for less than $200, and we can change lives with it. We can create lives of meaning for ourselves and for others. It just was mind-blowing. So that's how I came into the business. I came into it to help people and to create a business out of it. And I have run challenges, and I have done that consistently. But in doing so, I also was either enrolling people as a coach while they took their journey, or transitioning them to coaches. That coach part, creating business partners, is the thing that will separate you from exchanging your hours for dollars like you do as an employee. As an employee, we exchange a certain amount of hours for a certain amount of dollars. And when we do just retail, if we just only stick with retail sales only and run challenges and never build a business partner team, we're not maximizing what's available to us here. Carl Deichler has a business opportunity video where he speaks to, it's not one that's shown very often, it's just him in this video. And he speaks to his desire to help people create prosperity through this. So that's one of his desires. He's not going to talk often about that because he's in the infomercial business, right? So he's not going to talk about, he wants to talk about us helping people get healthy. But the truth is, he created this opportunity for us to create prosperity and share this with others. So building your business partner team is what starts freeing you with time. So I put together that collage and I openly shared it. Just listen, there's a crap load of people who are doing way better than that, blowing me out of the water with those numbers. And there's a crap load of people that maybe not that far along. But the point of that picture is, year after year, I just consistently, month after month, made a commitment to dialing into that one thing on the paycheck breakdown, which will help me create freedom. And what people will believe and how people will continue to follow me will be because I am modeling what you can do with this. So I want to model that I can be and vibrant and balanced as a 50-year-old. So I'm a product of those products. I want to model that we're part of this most amazing community. And I can't get enough of bragging about other people, on social media. I love to do that. And you know what that results in? Like the top 2 reasons people say they join my team, and all of my business is built on social media. They say they join my team because they perceive it to be successful and they perceive us to have fun. So I love, love, love to talk about the events that we get to go to. And to get to go to those and have the red carpet rolled out for you, you just got to earn it. And you just got to earn it by helping a few people. So if I can help a few people get their booties high and tight, why can't I help a few people each month start a business around that, right? Bottoms and bottom lines. So there was just a consistency each month that helped me build a team. And over time, steady Eddie, that number grows exponentially. And now I get to model for my team that I just last month announced that I'm doing 3-hour work days. So I'm not going to lie, I worked my booty off for 3+ years, really being accessible to my team around the clock, and working as hard as I possibly could to get that traction. But I did that knowing that someday I would be able to model for them the next step, which is when you build a team and you maximize this opportunity that Carl Deichler has put into our hands, you maximize that compensation plan by building a team of network marketing professionals where you are serving them as you continue to build underneath them, and they are serving you. If the compensation plan, the benefits of the compensation plan goes up and down the chart. And when you learn that about the business and you start applying it and you start sharing that, articulating that with your teammates, because a lot of times folks come on your team and they don't understand network marketing and they just think that they're serving you. They don't understand yet. So our job as network marketing professionals is to educate. We learned that at GoPro, right? Our primary job is simply to educate and expose them to opportunities and educate them, and expose and educate and move them from exposure to exposure. All right, so I'm going to share some statistics with you. So I've talked about creating money freedom, time freedom, and happiness freedom. So I love to just go do Google, thank God for Google, but I'll get these statistics so I can weave these into my messages to kind of get that little pebble in people's feet. So I put those messages out on social media. Did you know that, here's some money stats, 95% of the population will be dead or dead broke by the age of 65. That's from Danny Johnson, First Steps to Wealth. That's one of our 4 books that are just foundation pieces for our team. First Steps to Wealth. If you don't have it, you can get it on her site, DannyJohnson.com. It's free, you just pay for shipping. Here's some sad statistics. And what are the most stressful things in marriages and relationships? It's finances, right? Average credit card debt, $15,706. Average mortgage debt, $156,333. Average student loan debt, $32,953. I love to empower people to pay off debt and to take that burden off their shoulders so they can get to getting on giving to their communities. That's my mission. Joe and I have, by the way, this personal mission. We have a cause that we love to support, which by design is an organization that serves youth girls who have been abused or are at risk of abuse, and it serves them with athletic opportunities. And one of our big dreams, we support them now, but one of our big dreams is to be in a position to write an annual check of one big check of $100,000. So that means I have to become the kind of woman that can create an organization and help enough people in order for me to be in a position to write that kind of check. So that's on our dream board. Here's some time statistics. You spend 3 months of your life in traffic, or about 38 hours a year if you're commuting to work. You drive your car for 4.3 years in a lifetime. The average employee spends 2 years sitting in work meetings. In that time, never mind, that was for another statistic. Sorry, my bad. Happiness statistics. 70% of Americans would love to be their own boss. That's pretty good to know, right? If we're looking for business partners. 52.3% of Americans are unhappy with their work. Unhappy, unfulfilled, living without meaning or purpose. Here's some Beachbody numbers. Shh, don't tell Joe that I'm giving up. Okay, I have this little file and I call it WWJD. What would Joe do? So I have like his way of handling things. And since I'm not a numbers person, as I've told you already, I write down all his numbers so I can repeat them and sound smart. But 80% of coaches are probably not going to do anything in this business. So that just means, you know, maybe they just want to drink their shake and be healthy and get discounts on their programs, maybe show up for parties. I have lots of coaches on my team that just love to show up for parties. Like I forget they're in our team page and then boom, there they are at a party. I'm like, oh, okay. So 10% of your coaches may do something with it. 5% will do something more with it. And a very small percent will completely blow it up. 1 out of 20 or 1 out of 25 will reach diamond, so about 4%. So how those numbers came helpful to me, aside from just making it real, like, okay, the job is just to continue to add more business partners because some are going to grab onto it, some aren't. All business partners are meaningful. They're meaningful as human beings, and they're meaningful in your organization, whether they're discount coach, kind of working, or working. Everyone's a valuable part of this society. But how it helped me is to know to keep going on recruiting, and also to help paint a vision for our teammates who, let's say they want to reach 2-star diamond, because they know that's that first level that you start earning bonuses, and it's really when your income starts going to a new place. Diamond should be a pit stop on the way to 2-star if your goal is to build a business. And so what that helped me do is educate my business partners that if you know those numbers, that 4% of the people on your chart are likely, on average, to earn diamond. What does that mean? That means you would have to be recruiting about 25 coaches on each leg to have that number pan out, 25 coaches on each leg. So that helps paint a picture when you have those numbers. So thank God for those smart guys that can give you those. So I wanted to share with you those different numbers in those different categories and just ask you, you know, would you want to be part of a solution that would flip the switch on some of those statistics? Would you want to be able to influence people to live a healthier, a happier, a more adventurous life, a more fulfilling life? And may I suggest that you consider being an equal student of network marketing as you are of being a student of our vehicle, which is Beachbody, of course, that we all love. So network marketing is really the profession. That's what this industry is. That's how we have this opportunity. And Beachbody is our vehicle. And if you want to learn, like, there are a couple other books that I'll share with you that our team reads that have just really helped us educate and train our teammates on the power of network marketing as much as the Beachbody side of it. Of course, GoPro, it sounds like you guys are all students of that, and I use those scripts all day long in extending invitations, reaching out to people about the business. Since, of course, I'm in my cold market, one of my favorite scripts from there is, and this works about 99% of the time, hey, Sally, I have a million things going on. I just wanted to stop by. Natalie's laughing. She uses this too, doesn't she? Hey, Sally, I have a million things going on. I just want to stop by and say hello. You are a super sharp lady. May I ask what it is you do for a living? 99.9% of the time, that Eric Worre GoPro script, the person says, oh, wow, thank you for that nice compliment. Yeah, I do, blah, blah, blah. And they tell me what they do. So that opens up the door of conversation. So GoPro, it sounds like you guys already have that. The other two books that have been huge for us and audios that go along with this are the 45-second presentation and the system. And those are both authored by Don Faillia and his wife, Nancy. And are you familiar with that? Do you guys use that book? Here's a neat thing. All right, so when you see this guy is older than me. He looks like, probably to my 20-year-old business partners, he probably looks like he's 200 because he looks like 120 to me. Ironically, he and his wife, you'll know why I say ironically when you see it, but he and his wife are in some kind of health industry. That's their network marketing company. But he does this series of videos, and here is a huge thing. If you want encouragement to check out those books, they have an organization of 800,000 business partners. But here's why that is super impressive. What we learned from what they taught, what he teaches in this 45-second presentation in the system, he taught 4 people in the beginning of his 800,000 now and growing coaches, or they probably don't call them coaches, but whatever they call them. 800,000 people can be traced back. The majority of those can be traced back to those 4 people that he taught this system to, and they taught their people, and they taught their people. So it's worth checking out. It's been very valuable to our team, so that's part of our new secret sauce. His video, and if you, oh shoot, I think I took the video off and I put an application on my like page, but I'm happy to send Natalie like the link to my, I through him and Nancy, I got like their little standard website called Own Your Life, and you put your own name with it. And that's something that I can use to educate people on network marketing. And then I expose them to our vehicle, which he taught, that's how he describes it. So understand, educate on network marketing, the business side. So then I expose them to our vehicle, which is Beachbody. So they come in fully aware if I'm extending it in a business invitation. So if that's helpful to you, that's something that has been of value to us. I promise you this, reading and applying and becoming a masters of the content of these kind of books, network marketing books, along with being a master of Beachbody. Just, one book, I think Jim Rohn said it, one book could potentially save you 5 years of struggle. One book. And I can say that like times 4 with these, 4 key books that we use. So the 4 key books for our team are First Steps to Wealth with Danny Johnson, Go Pro by Eric Worre, 45-second presentation, and The System. Those books have allowed me to help people create time freedom. I've had people, and including yesterday, another 26-year young coach on our team left her job, put in her resignation. So that is so rewarding to offer women freedom to do that. I've had coaches leave nursing careers and be able to go home and be with their families. And I have other coaches who just want to create, better health so that they can enjoy the time that they do have with their family. I have, coaches who want to help a few people. I have coaches who want to help a lot of people. This business has completely morphed who I am as a human being. It has empowered me to be a stronger woman, a stronger leader, more confident. If I could offer any of those things to one other person, which I think I already have been able to do that, but that's what drives me. That's what causes me to get out of bed in the morning, to, what I said at the beginning, help people feel better and help people feel included and help them, expand, to create that ripple effect and expand that moving out. Expand your influence, expand your ability to serve more people by building a team of frontline responders who are magnificently obsessed with helping people improve their bottoms and their bottom lines. Are you with me? I'm all in. That's really my pony show. Was that helpful at all?
Great pony show. Very, very valuable.
All without wine.
What?
All without wine.
Yay! That's awesome. Are you going to GoPro this year?
For sure.
Okay. How about the one that's in August? There's one that's just for women.
Yeah. I'm not doing that one because I'm going to go to the 6-figure one that's like 2 or 3 days before GoPro, like they all blend together.
Awesome.
So,
cool.
For that. Yeah, getting to those events. By the way, that brings up a good point. If you are trying to model that you can create income from this, and if you are trying to help teammates, maybe you're already set financially and you're just good with that, maybe you're trying to influence others. We learned at that GoPro event that the highest paid skill in network marketing is promoting events, getting to events and promoting events. That's the number one highest paid skill. So that means getting your people on calls. That's an event. Getting your people in front of Natalie, getting your people to your Super Saturdays, getting them to Summit, getting them, what did he say? Okay, I actually have a number. Look, here's this number and it's just mine. It's not from my WWJD file. Here's a number. He shared that for each person, for each butt you get into a seat, like Joe got me to that event, that change, him getting me, shedding that tear to get me to an event, that's how convicted he was about the power. Like he already saw this opportunity and he was so convicted. He did not allow me to have any excuses. He really did everything in his power and got me there. One person equals on average $1,000 per year in your income. So if you have someone in your team who is desperately trying to create freedom, to pay off debt, or to leave a job that's sucking the life out of their soul, that's something you can share with them. That every one person, now $1,000 a year, not such a big deal, right? But as he explained it, multiply that. What if your first event, you get one person, like Joe got me to that event. He got one person there. He didn't know that that first stone he turned over would be his $1 million stone, right? But then the next event, he brought people and I brought people. And then the next event, and so now we have events where 200 people go. So now what does that $200 equate to in a year? I don't know, I failed math. That was a question.
Right?
So I just thought if you have anyone on your team who is looking to create income, that might be a valuable thing for you to share with them to emphasize the importance of getting people to events, whatever they are. Hey, any questions, guys, before I take off?
Don't be shy.
I have one.
Yay!
Hi, Jennifer.
My computer was going in and out, and you said that 45-second presentation, but what was the second book? You said it twice, and both times my computer went out.
That's all right. It's called, the second one, also written by Don, is The System. The System. Yeah. And you can get that, when you get it through his site, you get a DVD in the back of the 45-second presentation. So when you're traveling, I re-listen to that a lot. I don't think if you buy it on Amazon, you get that DVD. And I want to say his website is like 45secondpresentationtools.net. And then you go to books, whatever. So they're pretty inexpensive. And we bought a supply of them to pass out to new business partners as they come on board.
It's a good idea.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm really excited about your guys' team. You're led by someone that is just changing lives. You all know, I can see your smile and your love as a team, and that community that you guys have created. more people deserve to be in that. So invite some partners, and we'll see you at the top of the mountain. And at every event, now that you know how important it is, right? With
before we hop
lots
off,
of teammates.
smile, we're gonna do our little picture. And I actually wrote it down. I actually Googled it real quick before, so I'm not technically usually savvy. So it's a good night. All right, so everybody smile. It says internet unstable. Go away. All right, smile. All right, cool. Oh, Orion. There you go. Well, I want to thank everybody for getting on, and Tina, thank you so much. Can't wait to see you next month and hug you. And
I love you.
Love you.
Thank you for the privilege of hanging out with you.
Well, we thank you so much, and it was a great call. So I guess it's
bye, guys. Thank you.
So you guys have a good night.
Thank you.